Be with you soon. Hold on, hold on.
Stopping for what? I don't understand. And then this stupid thing, I need a piece of tape.
Hello, everybody. Let me start my video here. Let's see here. Let's get my video. Hi, everybody. Hi, Maria, you came in. Hi, Judith. How's everybody doing so far? Okay, I see people are coming into the room, I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And we are going to have us a very interesting day today. I want to thank everybody who came in to share with me the last few weeks where we got really, really, really down to business. And we discussed a lot of stuff. We discussed codependency at its core. We discussed how it works, how it looks. We got into the family. And because of that, we actually had a request to actually get into talking about family. Do you hear me, Maria? I want somebody to send a little, send you. Okay, perfect, perfect. I can't hear you though. I can't hear you. Okay. And a few people may feel it's going to be a little bit weird because I got a lot of technical things going on. A lot of people been jumping into, wanted to do the Zoom. And then I had, and I'm still trying to live stream from other platforms. So if I have a difficulty speaking to anybody over in my YouTube page or my Facebook page, I'm sincerely sorry as I get the technical thing down packed, right? So today we're going to talk about family dynamics. We're going to discuss family dynamics. Now, Maria, let me ask you something. What do you think about family dynamics? You could put it in the chat room. Do you feel like family has something to do with the person being codependent or or narcissistic? You could put yes, you could put no. Because we need to share. We need to start. One thing we're going to start doing definitely is bringing awareness. We're going to bring awareness into if you want to, I can also unmute you if you want to be unmuted. Yes, you do. I can unmute you guys if y'all like, but it's entirely up to you. How do you feel about narcissism and codependency? Do you feel it's created via family?
I think it is a big contributor. I don't think it's solely to blame, but I think it's a contributor.
You do, yeah. And a lot of people asked about that because they really had a problem trying to figure out whether it is. Sometimes people feel as though it's just something that it happens, right? Like it's just really bad adults being bad. You know what I'm saying? And that's not actually the case, right? It is created through early childhood development. Now, how does that actually look? Let's talk about that for a moment, because I want to explain what my overall agenda is, my call of action. Why am I doing these 8 to 9 weeks of codependency recovery, narcissistic abuse recovery? Why am I doing that? I'm doing that because I have an agenda, and I think we all do. We need to figure out where it starts at the core. And at the core, it's a matter of doing what we would call the inner child work, the inner child, right? We all at the core are inner children. And if we don't get to realizing that that's where everything starts, all those borderline personalities, the narcissism, the codependency, cluster B, C's, all of that stems from the overall inner child, the broken inner child. What happened starting from that youth, and it's taking us to our adulthood and how we perceive the world. So my call of action overall is to understanding and doing the work for the inner child. But we have to first understand how that began. Realize this. It's the first role we have as children. The first role we have as children. When we first are born into the world, we are born is second we're born into the world, we are born with a role. And the role in that family function, right? Were you an older child? Were you a younger child? Were you a middle child? Were you an only child? Right? And if you have that role placed on you as a child, as you start to grow up, you start to take that role seriously, right? If you're an older child, you have siblings you tend to, right? And if you're a younger child, you learn through their experiences. And if you're a middle child, sometimes you work between that equilibrium, trying to hold balance, trying to make the family smile, make the family laugh, right? We do that as middle children. And then if you're only child, right? How do you learn how to juggle having all of these toys and goodies to yourself? How do you learn how to share in the world around you? Right? But if that role is altered by neglect, childhood trauma, abuse, physical, mental abuse, it can overall change how we perceive the world when we go out into the world, So that's how that looks from that standpoint. Now, we have to understand that it shapes how we view the world. It shapes how we view the world. So understanding how that psychological functioning of our family dramatically influences our role, right? Let me give you an example. If you were, I don't get how that translates into evil. Look at there, Maria. Maria, listen, you're giving me a run for my money, and we just started. We 5 minutes in. I don't want you to, don't start with me.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
I love that. Great question. If you are an older child, right, and you have a younger sibling, and the mother idolizes that younger child, idolizes the younger child, and totally ignores you as an older child, it will alter your role. It will ultimately alter your role in life. That's the very beginning. Your role is immediately altered. The older child starts to act out as the younger child starts to act out as the older child. The younger child starts to rebel and feel slighted. The older child feels slighted, and it changes their roles. It changes how they view the world. The first role, the first relationships they had with family was completely altered. Completely altered. So we have to understand that toxic families can manifest an inner wound. Toxic families can manifest the first inner wound, right? And it places us in the position that we have to act out and shape or positively or negatively influence us in the way we perceive everybody around us and the people around us. So let's talk about evil, Maria.
Okay. Good.
Let's get to the evil part. Let's get to that. I'm gonna share a screen with you. Hold on, hold on, let me show you something. Let me show you something.
Oh, shoot. Okay. I'm gonna be right here.
Not that one. Hold on.
Let me grab my beverage.
Hold on. Share screen. Share screen. Hold on. Share.
No, I'm in here. It's okay.
Hold on 1 minute.
What is it? Sorry. This ear thing.
I'm not going to share that one. I'm going to share this one. Okay. Let's think about that. When a child is neglected, right? When a child is neglected and they're hurt, they're in pain, they act out, right? You see what happens here. So it's a little light. I'm sorry. I created this at the last minute.
Is this the right one? The family dynamic?
Oh yeah, we're talking about family dynamics. Children are part of the family.
Oh,
we're talking about
okay.
family dynamics, right? So how that family dynamics work. Right.
I see. Oh, I got you.
Get it? So we're talking about how that makes them evil, right? Where does it start?
I suffered the same trauma, and I was never evil like that to people. I suffered a severe abandonment.
Yes. Listen, Maria, I'm going to say this. This is very important. You can have 10 children born around the same time, 10 children born around the same time, born in similar circumstances, very similar circumstances, right? Okay. They all grow up. 6 of them will go on to be very regular people. 6 of them. 6 of them.
Right.
2 of them can fall into the category of that cluster B, which can turn into narcissism or sociopath or, psychopath, all of those things. And the other 2 can fall into cluster C, which can be codependency and those other traits, right? Other
borderline.
Borderline, absolutely. Borderline is under the cluster B. B.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
B.
It's B. So they can fall into, so it's just really those 4 people were so emotionally affected by what happened in their childhood, they act out on how they perceive the world. They perceive the world differently than what those 6 other people see that world. The 6 other people, which you would obviously fall into, Maria, thank goodness for you.
I hope so.
You are now fine, where other people hold on to that. Those 4 other people held on to that passionately. And now they are affected on how they view the world. So through that early childhood development, you could see a child acting out very, very young. He's like just as young as this person in the picture. They will start to persist at winning. They want to persist at lying. They persist at lying to benefit oneself. You can see that this would be a very early pattern in narcissism, right? They would attack people at a very young age, the sandbox mentality, attack all the children in the sandbox, right?
Like once you're 18, don't you have to be accountable?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure they know that they should be held accountable, but do they care is the question.
No. Okay.
Do they care?
Right.
I don't think so. And you know what else? I don't think they believe they are the problem. Now, isn't that what that is in terms of
Sometimes,
narcissism?
probably, yeah.
Right. Now, the only time
Unfortunately.
they might feel that they might feel guilt of any kind is when they're guilty at being caught or being guilty at being
Right.
brought to the light of their actions. They might feel that
All
sense
valid.
of guilt when they lose something, or a friend or a family member, or they lose a child, or they lose a relationship. They feel that sense of guilt there, right? But that doesn't really mean that it alters their mentality or alters their behavior, right?
Retarded.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they act entitled, and that's where that comes from. The entitlement, which leads to them acting as if they deserve special treatment. Now, isn't that something? Even as young as this child in the picture, they can feel like they deserve everything in the sandbox. Minds, 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 minds. Okay? So they can get aggressive responses to being criticized and wronged and upset. And when you think of that person when they're bigger, it could be a little bit hurt. It could be a little worse. It could be worse. You take this little child here and you make them 30 years old, and then they're acting as though they're still the child in the sandbox. Right. Then it's a problem. Right. Then it's a problem. Right. So that's where that stems from in narcissism. And so when we talk about the other two children, let's talk about the other two children. Let's share that screen. Let's share the other one. Hold on. Let's share. I'm gonna go to the other one. Hold on. Nope, not that one. Let's talk about this one. So that's the other two children. After being neglected, hurt, misused, abused, they tend to, when they grow, they want perfectionism. They want to people please because they've been hurt as children, right? So even as a child, when you've been hurt, when you fall into that cluster C, which is the codependency, you start to act like a perfectionist. You think everything I'm gonna clean my room so my parents could love me. I'm gonna be a good girl so my parents could love me. I won't be neglected anymore if I clean my room. If I, you know what I'm saying? I don't feel inadequate, so I need to seek attention. I want to seek attention. So I have to do things and be a good little girl, good little boy, right? Then they're very sensitive to criticism because they feel like they're going to be abandoned or hurt or told wrong, like they told that they're wrong or bad. And then they lack awareness of their feelings. They don't know how to express that I am hurting, I'm in pain. So you take the same little girl and she still grows up with the same thoughts. What do you have? What do you have? A codependent, right? Yeah. A codependent. And that's the family dynamics. That's how we perceive still the world that we live in, as grown as we are in our 30s, 40s, and 50s. We still living like we're in the sandbox. Anybody can feel free to share, Judith. If you want to share, Judith, absolutely, you can certainly share. You can also put stuff in the comments section as well. So they have tendency to just distrust everyone. And that's where codependency starts as well. So let me give you an example of that. Let's give an example, another example of how that looks and how the family can shape, how that works in the family dynamics, and how a child, right? A child grows up and can still now the same pain that they were inflicted upon, that was inflicted upon them, they can inflict upon other people without thinking about it. It could be very subtle. Let me give you an example. A person grows up, right? A grown man around his 30s, right? Grown man in his 30s. He's on drugs. He's on drugs. And he says to his family, I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not hurting anybody. It's my leisure time. It's what I do. The only person I could hurt is myself, right? Only person I could hurt is me. Not realizing that him even being on drugs is either a learned behavior. He probably seen his parents on drugs, right? See that early childhood, that learned early childhood, that behavior from early childhood. He's seen his parents on drugs, one of his parents, a family member, an elder, a community, somebody in the community. He learned this from early childhood. He's seen this, right? or he's suffering from his inner child wound, either neglect, physically, mentally, emotionally hurt from an inner child wound. And now he's taking drugs. But let's imagine him having children now, right? And his behavior, his drug behavior now can affect those children, even though it's subtle, even though he's saying, I'm not hurting anybody. It's my leisure time. I'm doing what I want to do. Now, what happens? He goes out, he continues to go out, he go partying, he have a few overdoses, it's affecting his family. You have a child, and like the one in this picture, who is being neglected, who's not being, who's hurt because she's watching her father doing drugs. And you got a child who can ultimately grow up now being codependent, because now she figures, if I be a good girl, and if I'm in my room, and if I'm cleaning my room, my daddy will come home. My daddy will come home. He won't go out and use drugs. He'll come home. And then that same person grows up thinking, when she gets in a relationship with an alcoholic or a drug addict, what do you think she's going to do? She's going to say, if I clean this house for him, he won't leave. You see how that works? If I clean this house for him, he won't leave. Okay? If I be quiet and please him, he won't leave. He won't go out and do drugs. That's how that works. It's the inner child. It's the inner child. You want to know, Maria, if any, you want to ask me any questions and how you feel that related to your personal experience with your ex-narcissistic relationship?
I forgot. I had a question. I forgot.
You had a question?
I had forgotten.
You forgot? Did you often ask yourself one question? How did you land yourself into a relationship with somebody like that?
Because I let him walk on me like a doormat, and I just kept like making excuses and rationalizing. And I knew I was in denial, but I denied that. So, I mean, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw this coming in a million years, but it hit me hard.
And do you feel like it still affects you?
Yeah, it does. And I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I have to get there somehow.
What do you feel is which part of your feelings do you have when you think about that? Like, when you think about the biggest feeling that you have, what is it? Is it pain? Is it
It's anger and paranoia. And I made a decision not to talk to Mom, the lady that he lives with, because we're good friends, because that exposes me to, he could look at her phone, she could slip and tell him something that's going on with me, and I just can't talk to her anymore.
Yeah.
That's just got to be cut off. It's triggering me too much.
Mm-hmm.
But how do I feel? Yeah, I mean, yeah. I feel I don't ruminate as bad, but the anger is slightly lifting, but it's still there, and it's pretty bad.
Mm. So you have anger mostly, like you want to do something, you want to lash out, in a sense.
I would, kind of, yeah.
Judith made a good point. When you become people pleasers because of the inner child wound, how do you recognize the triggers? How do you move from this place? I love that question, Judith. I love that question. Let me ask you a question. You could put it in the chat. Do you recognize your triggers when they come, or do you recognize them after they come? That's the question that we need to recognize first. When they come. So at the moment you're in them, that you're being triggered, right? Right. So the thing that you have to do, which I tell people that is very necessary to do, especially in coaching, is that's the moment you step back. You have to step back. You immediately step back. In anything that you would do opposite of, you have to be the opposite of. So if it's anger and you're lashing out, stop for a minute. Stop where you are. Stand, stay still, keep your mouth closed, and think. Don't move. I had people say I was crazy in my trigger. You know why? Because Right when they said something that triggered me, I go,
that's what I should do.
And I'm asking myself now, what am I thinking? They think I'm about to beat them up. I'm being realistic with you, Judith. They think I'm gonna jump on them, but I'm not. I'm saying, where is this coming from? Where is this stemming from right now? Why did that hurt me? Why did that hurt me? Because as people pleasers, we hear things differently from what people are saying, right? Somebody could say, you have a nice day. You have a nice day. You think they're saying have a nice day. You know, you think they have an attitude with it. It's the slightest subtle words coming out of people's mouth. And you could get triggered behind that because we're very sensitive. We're sensitive about being judged. We're sensitive about being told, people to saying nasty things to us. More importantly, we're sensitive about people saying things to us, but they're really thinking something different about us. That's the worst type of sensitivity, right? The worst type of sensitivity. So I've learned how to be careful with my words. I stop, I go, I walk away, I retreat, and I think, where is this coming from? Where is this coming from? Let me give you an example. My ex relationship, I had a problem with people coming in and out of my house. That was part of my codependency, right? I needed to know where everybody was at all times. It was just part of my codependency. Let me just be honest with you. If you left the house, you had to tell me. If you was outside and you was out more than an hour, I needed to know. It's part of that control mechanism in codependency. I needed to know. Okay. In my house, this is my rules. That's how I thought as a codependent. When my ex, who was a very regular guy, by the way, when he used to go to the store, he would just say, I'm going to the store, right? 20 minutes into him going to the store, I would say, wait a minute, I felt triggered. Where is he at? Why is he taking so long? The store is up the block. I'm triggered now. I'm triggered. Why am I triggered? I had to stop and think. It took me a while to stop and think because we had arguments when he would come back an hour later. Like, why did you take so long to go to the store? And we would have fights about that. Right? And then I realized, wait a minute, I had to stop. And one day I had to go like this. Where's this coming from? Oh, I get it. I had relationships in the past where they didn't go to the store. They went somewhere else. They went to see somebody, you know? I had a parent who walked out and when I was younger and didn't come back. He probably went to the store and didn't come back, right? It's part of my trigger. It's part of my trigger. So part of that trigger is also stopping, thinking about where it's coming from. But that doesn't mean don't open your mouth. You just have to go back to them later and say, listen, that was a trigger for me. Definitely. Why can't we be honest as adults? Tell me why. Somebody tell me why. Why can't we be honest? Why can't we go to the people who are hurting us and say, I don't like that. And let me tell you why, you know? But that doesn't mean it's your problem. It's also mine, something that I have to work on as well. But let's compromise. You know, can you do me a favor while I work on me? Can you be a little lighter on my behavior so I get through this? Me and you together, right? And if they don't stop it, if they stop it, then that's a good person. You keep them. If they don't, they got to go. Yeah. They gotta go. Yeah. You know, does that make sense to you, Judith? Okay, yes, it's very important. But we have to stop at that moment because part of that triggered behavior is for us. We act on it right away. We jump out on the trigger. It's a defense mechanism. It's that fight or flight, right? So a lot of us say we either fight or flight, you know, but there's nothing wrong with staying still instead. Staying still. You know? Does somebody want to share?
I will.
Hi.
Who is it?
Who is speaking?
Who is it? It's Maria.
Oh, you go ahead, Maria. Oh, I thought it was somebody else. Go ahead, Maria.
I mean, I was just saying, I'm gonna have to learn, if I'm triggered, to not just boom, just go into this state of rage or panic or whatever, because I'm hurting myself so badly right now doing that.
Yes.
So that is something I can work on a daily basis.
That's right. That's
My
right.
friends would appreciate it because I go off on them all the time too. I know,
Yes.
it's terrible.
Yes. We will. It's just so unfortunate because we are, we have to learn, especially when we're very assertive people and aggressive, right? We can definitely act out on those emotions and want to hit someone. Maria, I'm sure you can attest to this. You want to hit
I
somebody.
felt like it, but I better not. Yeah.
You want to hit somebody. Um, and we got to definitely hold those feelings. We got to also be accountable for how we react to things. We want to hold other, right,
instead of boom.
right.
Yes.
We're so consumed with holding other people accountable for their
Oh
actions.
my God, I'm obsessed. Yeah.
What about our own? Right?
Right. Yeah, for sure.
What's so
Yeah.
wrong with that?
That sounds
Nothing at all, because if we think about it, we will go through life, and especially in codependency, we can go through life saying, he hurt me, she hurt me, they hurt me, and that person hurt me, and that person hurt me.
I can't keep doing that. That's the victim mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't do that. No way to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta quit talking to that lady. I mean, she's the sweetest old lady, and I love her. I really love her, but it's just too potentially dangerous for my emotional well-being.
So let me ask you something, Maria. Is this lady related to the person? I mean, the person.
Her son was in prison with Mike, my ex, and when they got out, he let Mike come live with him and his mom. Well, Ray, the lady's son, has died a couple years ago, and she let Mike stay because she don't want to go in a nursing home, but he don't do anything. But that's who she is, and I've met her and talked to her. That's how I know her.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so do you feel like you need to stop talking?
I absolutely. I feel it's just dreadful. Just calling her, I feel dread because of the risk of what if he walks in the room and I hear his voice and it triggers me, or which could happen, and I don't want to hear about what's going on with him. And she was telling me, oh, he's out running the streets, and I don't want to even know if he's doing poorly. I don't want to know either way.
Okay. And do you feel
And then
like
I start going.
you're really just having a relationship with this woman because it has some tie to
Yeah,
him?
I think that I used to talk to her just to find out where the hell he was half the time, because she usually knew and he wouldn't tell me.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times I would use her for that. But now I told her, a week ago, I texted her, like, we can't talk about this toxic person, or, if he's home or going to be home soon, we can't be on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And she acted like she understood, but then the next time I talked to her, she starts talking about him. Mm-hmm. And I just don't want to, I can't handle it.
And it's hard for you to hear even his name being brought up. Am I correct?
Exactly. It really is.
Part of that healing is, I tell people all the time, is to just, you're going to have to disconnect from the people that they're related to or close to.
Absolutely.
For a while.
I mean, she'll be fine, and she knows I love her, but I just can't do it. She knows that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, don't be afraid to let those people go for a little while you work on that, right?
At least temporarily, it's not permanent, at least temporary.
Right. That's right. I mean, if you like the lady, not forever, right? But while you heal, it would be a great, it would just be great for your healing to stop that communication for a little while.
I might state that to her. She can always call me if it's something very important, but she's got others.
Right. So, I mean, that's very important for us to pay attention to. right?
Yeah,
Hi,
I just
Norman.
figured that out. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, Norman.
I hope you hear us, Norman. I'm sorry about the change. I wanted to add some people from the had to do Zoom. I want to add some people who've been dying to be part of this experience through the Eventbrite. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that you would have to consider. And so let's put in the chat if you can't hear us, Norman, or if you're working on your mic. I know it's kind of hard if you haven't worked on Zoom in a while, right? So let's realize something, that as grown folks, now that we're still working on our inner wound, right? We're still working on our inner child. All of us still are working on our inner child. A lot of us get past those inner child wounds and we just say, okay, you know what? I'm fine. I'm not going to let that define me. I'm going to be a great adult. And then we like Judith asked about triggers, we have our occasional triggers, right? Right. And that's fine. I think as humans, we need to be honest with those triggers. We also need to be honest when a person is triggering us so much so, right? That doesn't mean just because every time a person comes into our lives and they trigger us, then it's always something about us. No, maybe there's people who come into your life, like narcissists, who will come into your life, who will purposely keep flicking that trigger on you. They find the trigger. They look for that trigger. You know? So they look for that trigger and they keep on poking at it.
Get rid of them.
So we have to think about that as well. Because some of those triggers could be live very dormantly in us. Some of those some triggers we could just be just fine, not having flipped on anybody or cursed anybody out, okay, for years. And then it be that one person, who jumps in there and want to keep on tapping at that trigger. Now the question remains, okay, when are you gonna stop letting them? That's the question. When are you gonna stop letting them?
Get rid of them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In codependency, specifically in codependency, let's realize the dynamics in codependency. When we're people pleasers as children, right? We live comfortably in the chaos. Okay? We live comfortably in the chaos. Okay, Norman said he can't hear me. He probably have to work on his audio, but everyone else hear me, I hope. Okay. Okay, cool. So we live comfortably in those chaos as children. So if we see our parents fighting, we're seeing a lot of toxic behavior going on in the family, we will live comfortably because that's how we grew up. As adults, we will live comfortably in chaotic situations with a relationship as well. So we will tend to still be people pleasers, knowing that person is very toxic for us, knowing they're very toxic for us, wanting to still continue to please that person and act. There you go, Norman. You hear us?
Where'd you go?
You. Okay.
Norman?
Okay, I think I heard him. So we will continue to act as people pleasers and letting people harm us or just treat us very badly. So we have to think about that. We will, if you're in a toxic relationship and and it's chaotic and it's hurtful and this person is mentally, physically abusing you, understand that if you are walking on eggshells, but you're doing that continuously on purpose, that there's a problem that you need to address. Because some of us will continue to live in that relationship because it is a place of familiarity for us. It is a place of familiarity. Okay? So our greatest purpose in life is not the careers that we build. It's not the careers that we build, even as in the broken children. As adults, it is the service that we provide to other people, humanity, right?
Okay. Right.
So if you're going to be a people pleaser, Don't do it at the expense of yourself each and every time. But if you're going to provide some kind of service to humanity, do it authentically, knowing yourself to the core. I know myself very well. So guess what? I went through therapy. I went through codependency recovery, but I cannot get with a narcissist. He will trigger every single thing I worked on for the last 10, 12 years. Yeah. I will choke him. I know myself. Yeah. I know myself very, very much so. Okay. So it's the service that you provide in humanity, but do it authentically. Know who you are as a person. If someone is hurting you, that I don't like that. We can be honest with ourselves. I don't like that. What are you doing here? What are you doing? No, that's a no for me. Big no. Don't do that again. Be okay with saying those things. And I know it's hard because we want to continue to please people, right? And especially have to be said to those narcissists because they would never expect you to say it, right? They would never expect you to stand up for yourself. You have to say, nah, no, don't do that again. They won't allow you to. And if they walk out, they just walk out. Right. So how is therapy going for you, Maria? Did Judith, and I see a 267 number. Let me ask y'all something. Is everybody going to therapy here? So are you okay? Let me see what Judith said. Are you saying a person who is looks for narcissistic? Have to get a new one. Even if it's a person controlling and verbally abusive, is this can be a pattern? Well, that's a good question, Judith. Well, let's start and see. Let's talk about how that actually works. Codependents don't actively seek abusive people. No, it just don't happen like that. We just don't actively seek abusive people. An abusive person is not going to show you that they're abusive right out. Are you kidding me? No, I don't know a codependent in the world who's just going to meet a guy and he slaps her and she'd be like, oh, that's I think this is going to be work out for me. I think this is the man for me. No, it don't work like that. Right? No. The manipulators show a different face. The manipulators, the abusers, the narcissistic people, they come in. I got it. So they don't leave when they should. Exactly. They don't leave when they should. Yes, ma'am. I ain't even have to go into the big spiel. We just don't leave when they should. Once our heart is involved and we're invested, we don't leave almost sometimes at all. We think that we're powerless in the relationship. We feel like we're powerless in the relationship. And we feel like we don't deserve any better because of our low self-worth. Right? So, right. So we just don't feel like we can do better. So we stick it out. And we start to say, well, you know what? This is all I got right now going on. So you know what? I might as well, you know what I'm saying? Make sure that the house is clean and the dinner's cooked. He might not scream at me today, make sure the kids are asleep. Make sure the kids are asleep. You learn how to maneuver. You learn how to move like water in a very toxic, fiery relationship. You learn how to move as a codependent, and then you become codependents will merge with the toxic lover or toxic significant other. We merge with them. So we learn how to act out. We learned how to act on their behalf. We learn how to be a mirror of an image that they want for us. So sometimes narcissistic people, they want a symbolism of what a family should be, a symbolism of what a family should be, right? So we will act as that symbol. So a narcissistic man may not so necessarily treat you well, right, when he's home, but he wants the world to perceive that he has a family at home that is happy, right? So he just wants you to stand as a token, a symbol, and codependents are fine for that role. Okay, I'm gonna act as a doting wife when people see me, or a loving mother, or whatever. But inside of that house is chaos. It's chaos, right? And a codependent will, especially if they don't know themselves, they will act just fine in that relationship. Like that's how it's supposed to be. It's not uncommon for a codependent to get with an abusive, angry drunk who's beating, just calling her all kinds of names. And she's like, okay, she's in the kitchen acting like she don't hear him. And she's washing the dishes while he's screaming behind her, you old fat bee, and this, and that. Like, it's not uncommon. And she's like, okay, I'm just acting like I don't hear him. He'll fall asleep eventually. My gosh. They will stick that out for years and years, you know? So to bring an awareness to that is because a lot of times this is how our family members grew up, right? It is not uncommon to see our grandparents or great grandparents who stuck in these very toxic relationships for 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, right? Unhappily forever after married, right? And these are the type of relationships that they had. And then we're like, you know what? That's what I want. I want a long lasting relationship. And if I get with a man and he just so happened to be, make me unhappy, as long as we're together, as long as I'm not abandoned ever, I'm fine. Because the biggest fear is abandonment for us. The biggest fear is abandonment for us. So why is that crucial in a narcissistic relationship? It's crucial when you're in a narcissistic relationship. A narcissist will make you feel as though he's going to leave you every single day he's with you. It's the most unsettling relationship on the planet. The whole time you with them. Right. Yes, it becomes a family pattern and you stick it out trying to make it work. Absolutely. Absolutely. You stick it out. That's the main word for codependent. I'm gonna stick this out. Codependents will stick out everything. We stick out being unfulfilled in just about everything we do. We'll stick out old raggedy job. We'll stick out old raggedy relationships. We just stick things out entirely too long. We don't find that balance. We don't move. We don't break the glass ceiling and say, you know what, I'm going to go against the grain of how my heart feels and I'm just going to do something different. We have to define ourselves to be able to do that. At some point, we have to wake up with the epiphany and say, I deserve better than this. No, I deserve better than this. Yeah. You got to get tired. That's it. Yes, you got to get tired. In my situation, I was like, it's going to be me or you. So one of us is going to just choke each other in our sleep. So it's going to be me or you. I got to go. I got to go. I don't want you to choke me to death and I don't want to choke you to death. So I'm going. You and me. Excuse, I want to, this is live. I got to watch what I say. I'm not that violent, but that was part of my trigger. My trigger was he made me violent. And I'm a really meek person. And so somebody taking you outside of yourself every single time, day in and day out, day in and day out. You got to go. It's time to let go. And those family dynamics is so crucial because we learned this through our childhood. We learned this in our childhood. We had these chaotic relations. You know what? Sometimes we could have really great loving parents. We could have had a very great childhood, but through learned behavior, and also some of these things could be circumstantial. Codependency could be circumstantial. Codependency could be something that happens in young adulthood as well. When you got your first intimate relationship and the very first guy you met did something crazy to you. Now you are pretty much codependent when it comes to all kinds of relationships. It's like a PTSD, right? It's trauma. So every time you get in a relationship, you're not trusting, you're scared, all kinds of things. You're worried. And then the person, if they're not such a good person, it becomes really, really bad. Absolutely. So back to my original question though, Maria, how is it working for you in terms of the therapy? How's that working for you?
Okay. I've met with Louise twice now, and I just tried to pre-screen her to make sure she knew about narcissistic abuse and the dynamics. She said that she did, but last time I talked to her, she was like having a girls' tea party, like chit chat, and I got nothing out of it. So now I'm seeing Dr. Heidi July 13th, and I know I got to pay out of pocket, but she's reasonable. That I know I got somebody that knows what I'm talking about and that will talk to me about what's really going on instead of my hysterectomy or the weather or whatever.
Good.
kind of disappointing. And she's a nice lady, but I'm not saying to have her, chit chat for 45 minutes. I need real help with this issue.
Yeah, that's good. So the person does specialize in codependency recovery, not narcissistic abuse recovery.
3-day lecture on it. And I said, dang, she's like you. She's very knowledgeable of the whole thing.
Okay, good. That's awesome. That's awesome. And continue to keep coming to the groups so we can continue to, work, it's good to get it out. It's good to get it out. You didn't send any more angry texts.
And email.
What?
Didn't text anybody, would not at you, but towards you. Yeah, I did not. Amen.
You did not. Okay. No more angry text. Okay.
Right.
Okay. I'm gonna snatch your phone.
I like the way you kept your sense of humor about it. That was very helpful.
It's okay. It's only because I've been there. So I know the feeling.
Right.
Okay. I know the feeling. I would send 3 or 4 paragraphs, 3 or 4 pages of text. I know the feeling, right? But at some point you have to start the healing process for yourself, right? And then we have to start the healing process.
I would like to get that journey underway.
Yeah.
More so than this is like tiny, if even baby steps. Well, I mean, I'll give myself credit that I have a ways to go.
Yeah.
And
you're ruminating a lot less.
I think I realized one of my triggers today, and definitely ruminating less and apologizing to people that I have been so angry with because they weren't deserving of it,
Right.
And then just my friends in general, I can be very sarcastic and rude, and I can cuss and I can get nasty, and they can't just chalk that all up. Oh, she's just, at some point it gets old.
Yeah.
So I know better than you.
So do you find that apologizing to your friends, did that make you feel better? A little bit better?
But it doesn't take away the harsh things that I might have said. I recognize I took it way too far and I way overreacted.
Yeah. I understand that completely. Maria, listen, you're making great strides. So far, I see you're making great strides. I know I still see a little pain.
Yeah, sure.
But that's why you got to share. That's why you have to share with people who understands,
Right. I would like to share. Right now I'm at a stage where I need to take stuff in, but I can still share the little bit that I have, I guess.
Yeah. That's very, very important. Hi, Naya. I got some people coming into the room still. But Maria, listen, as your journey continues, right? We discussed about that stepping back and taking that moment to breathe.
Yeah.
Right? To think about where is it stemming from? What part, right? Where did it start for you? Beyond that relationship, before that relationship.
About that, right. Oh, right? Yeah. Right.
Even that anger, where does the anger stem from before that relationship, right?
I'm sure the inner child has a lot to do with it.
The inner child.
At least somewhat, yeah.
Yeah, the inner child.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody did something and you're mad. You're mad. Okay?
Did that. Yeah.
And it's okay. It's okay to be okay with that. That's the thing. It's okay to be okay with that. It's okay to say, I made a mistake here. It's okay to say, I felt bad after I cursed that person out. It's okay to say, I'm a grown person making little baby mistakes. It's okay, but be okay with it. Be okay with it.
I could forgive my parents that are no longer here for something that maybe they made a mistake,
Well, Judith asked a very good question. Judith said, once you step back and establish where it stemmed from, then what do you do with that information? Oh, wow. Judith, I'm so glad you asked me that. I love when people ask me questions. Tell her, Maria. Don't I love when people ask me questions? I love it.
Ivy loves questions. Yeah.
I love questions. And I'm gonna give it to you right now. I gotta share my screen now. Let me see if my
Okay.
it looked like my my mouse want to stop working. So let me share my screen here. Let me share. I got to share this. Listen, you got the right one today. And I'm gonna share something with y'all, not that one. So let me go to the one I want to share. I want to share this one. What it says. What that say? What that say? That says forgiveness is not an occasional act. It is a constant attitude. I'm going to say that again for the room. Forgiveness is not an occasional act. It is a constant attitude. That's what you do with that information. And I know people don't, let's talk about forgiveness for a minute. People don't like to forgive. People hate forgiving. People, and I know Maria don't like to forgive nobody right now. Maria not trying to forgive nobody. She ain't trying to forgive nobody right now, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Right? Oh, you weren't seeing that screen? You didn't see that? Oh, wow. You didn't see it? Oh, man. Okay. You seen it, Maria? Did you see it?
Did I see what? I mean,
a screen. I put my screen up. Okay, never mind. Nobody's seen that screen. But
I saw something. A telephone.
let me read it. Then let me read it one more time. I'm gonna read it. You don't have to. I don't have to share it. Like, listen, Zoom is not my friend. I said that forgiveness. This is by Martin Luther King Jr. It's a quote. It says, forgiveness is not an occasional act. It is a constant attitude. A constant attitude. Now, why did I say that? Because when you have that information, like, okay, I know where it stemmed from. I know where it's coming from, my childhood and all that other stuff. You've got to start releasing some forgivenesses in the air, even whether they're there or not. You have to. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you something. I know people don't want to, especially if they've been hurt by somebody years ago. If somebody hurt them to the core, they'd be like, that person don't deserve my forgiveness. They don't deserve my forgiveness. But do you understand what happens when you don't start giving out those universal forgivenesses? Okay. It festers inside of you. Your codependency festers. It stays triggering you. Right? So when you're mad at something in a snap, that's from your inner child. When you want to slap somebody, that's from your inner child. When you want to cry on a whim because somebody says something nasty to you, that's from your inner child, right? You didn't at some point stop and say, you know what? To whether they're there or not, to the mommy who left me, I forgive you. To the daddy who abandoned me, I forgive you, right? To the childhood friend who, I don't know, made rumors about me. I forgive you. 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 And you know what? Even if you don't forgive them in that moment, say it, because sooner or later you'll start to believe it. Sooner or later you start to believe it. Say it every morning as an affirmation. I forgive those who hurt me. I forgive those who hurt me. I forgive those who hurt me. Because when you start to really feel it, it's the most freeing experience on the planet. It's so freeing. I'm a living testimony. It is so freeing. I hated so many people. I just started giving out little tokens of forgiveness. You have that. You have that. You have that. Like Oprah Winfrey, you get a forgiveness. You get a forgiveness. You get a forgiveness. Okay? You have to. You have to. Let me tell y'all a story. I was in a 15-year relationship with a covert narcissist. 15 years. 3 kids out of that relationship, right? I said, no more. I can't do it. Boom. I left him, right? Got out of there with the clothes on my back. Started over. And because I never learned things twice, I landed my silly behind in another relationship 2 years later with a grandiose narcissist. Malignant, terrible, horrible. He tried to bury me emotionally, okay?
Yes.
He was so bad. He was so horrible to me as a person that literally when he discarded me, he had already had somebody and he was already getting married. Like 3 months after discarding me, he was married. Okay. 4 months after that, she was pregnant. Less than a year into us breaking up, he had a whole family, married, house on a hill, car, everything, just a whole family, right? Less than a year, right? I said, it almost tore me up on the inside. Hi, Naya. I'm going to get to you in a second. Thank you for raising your hand. I definitely want you to share with me. No sooner, I mean, it almost tore me up on the inside. I mean, you think about, I thought of suicide, honey. It gets that bad, when somebody hurts you to the core, right? One day I had a dream, right? It was a crazy dream. I was chasing him into the corners of this house, this old abandoned house. And I wanted to strangle him. And he's running, honey. He's running. He's running. Okay. He's running.
Yeah, somebody's getting killed here.
Okay. It was a nightmare. I was trying to get him. But then when I woke up, I didn't like that feeling. My blood pressure was through the roof. I was losing, I lost a lot of weight. Then I gained a lot of weight. I was going through all kinds of emotional trying situations there. And I just woke up and I said, you know what? I forgive you. He wasn't there. I forgive you. I forgive you. I knew it was a process of my inner child, that fear of abandonment, because he wasn't a good person. So why would I be so hurt that this man left me when he wasn't a good person to me the whole entire relationship? Why did I care? Right? But part of that codependency, I just didn't, the idea of him leaving me sickened me. Right? But then one day, I walk into the trains. I used to live in New York. I'm walking towards the train to go to work. I hear him in the background. Hey, how you doing? Hey, he runs up on me, jumps on the train with me, and he's trying to, how they try to wheel you back in with the romance. I wasn't letting it. I wasn't gonna let it happen. But then he was like, everything that I did to you, I want to say that I'm sorry. And I said, you know what? I've been forgave you. I didn't believe that I forgave him when I said it in the air the first time. But it wasn't until he was standing in front of me when I said, you know what? I've been forgave you. And I walked away because at that moment, I realized I did. And I didn't care what happened in his life at that very point. I no more ruminating, no more checking on his social media page. Shoo, that happened 6-7 years ago. And guess what? Honey, he's still blocked. Okay. 6-7 years ago, still blocked. I don't care. I'm not looking because I forgave at that moment and I moved on. I'll tell you later. I moved on. You want to say something, Naya? Thank you for raising your hand. Did you want to add something?
Yes, one more.
Hi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. I am calling you from Philadelphia.
Hey.
Hey. I'm listening to you and I so appreciate you being at this platform and giving us this moment to share and hear other stories. Yeah. I'm coming from a 15-year marriage. Still married. March the 2nd was the moment that I chose Naya. I never knew what it felt like to choose me. Mine was a little rough marriage because I went from Philadelphia to Georgia thinking I could get away from not only taking my narcissistic husband with me, but he has a mother that is even worse than him.
That's right. Keep on. Okay. You there? Hello? Keep on sharing. Now, I see you still up. Hello? Now you put in the chat room if you're having technical difficulties with your mic. I still see you unmuted. If you can, put in the chat room. I see it's going up and down. Me and Naya might share the very same experience, honey, I tell you. Are you there still? Okay. She's having difficulties. Let's see if I can help her. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so while Naya get her thing up, right? We will keep. Is everybody still there? Okay. Now, why Naya gets her thing up? Let's finish, because I understand all too well, Naya, especially you're fresh out of a situation, fresh out. So you said March 15th was when you left from a 15-year relationship.
Are you still, can you hear me?
Are you still now? Yeah, I hear you now. Go ahead.
Awesome. It was March 2nd. I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
I am struggling. I'm going to tell you, this is the first Zoom meeting that I've ever came into to even share anything.
I love it. Well,
this
thank
is
you.
my very first one. And I was determined to find something that could help me, because this has been a struggle. My husband is, his mother is really his wife and not me.
I hear that. I
had to learn how to choose me. And that's one of the most hardest moments, because I'm an enabler and I'm a codependent person. I'm all of everything that, whatever that plane, when you're on that plane and they tell you to, when the oxygen drops down, do it to yourself first. I've never did it to myself.
That's right.
I've always did it to everyone else first. So this is not my first marriage. I've been married before, and I did, like you were saying, Ivy, and I thank you for sharing that. I came out of a marriage before this marriage, and he was an alcoholic, and I saw that. So what a lot of times what happens is, and I didn't see it until you step out of sometimes, that's when you can look back in the window and you're like, that was me. Yeah. I literally became not so much an alcoholic, but I became a codependent. I was a drinker with him in order to tolerate him. So then I get out of that relationship, don't spend time with myself to get to know myself. So 3-4 months go back right before that divorce. And here I meet the man that I'm presently married to now. I don't see anything, because he comes kind. He comes holding the door. The representative shows up.
That's right.
So when that representative shows up, and I don't know, I don't want to take a lot of the time. Tell me, Ivy, if I'm going, I need to cut it off.
Oh no, please share, please. We need to hear this.
I see the representative, because as you were stating, that little girl in me that I didn't even know she was there. I thought she was grown and the little one was way back there, but I never took time to talk to that little girl. Because that little girl has a history of looking at her father that was an alcoholic. When I tell you, my dad was the kindest man you ever want to meet, but at the end of the day, he was an alcoholic, and I never acknowledged that.
Tell it.
And I came from a dysfunctional family that we were a strong unit, Afro-American family. But it was that old saying, what goes on in this house stays in this house. We don't go to therapy.
That's right.
So in the midst of all of that, this good little girl, this tiny little girl grows up in that kind of house, but she sees that father. And that's what she wants, because that's all she knows.
Yes. Yes.
So when she gets that kind of duplication of her father, she doesn't realize that that's not good.
That's right.
That's not going to be healthy for you.
That's right.
But that little girl in me don't see that. As an adult, that little girl in me sees this guy being a representative of what my father was. Because I always met the ones that my dad was a bill payer, took care of the house. I met them. Those were the husbands I had. That's the husband I got right now, a provider. But see, I got a new twist this time that I wasn't ready for. Because now my dad was narcissistic. So I don't know what that is. That's right. And I don't see it. So I'm blindsided by it. But not only that, when mine became even harder, because now I have his mother.
That's right. That's
So
right.
I got two of them.
That's right.
So what I did was, and I said it had to be my ancestors. I don't know who believes in your ancestors that have crossed over coming back to talk to you and help you, but I do. Because in Georgia, I was riding down the street and it was like I'm in my car right now while I'm talking to you guys, and a voice said, "Go in the Best Buys and get a recorder."
That's
My
right.
mother-in-law came to visit us in Georgia after we left Pennsylvania and went to Georgia, relocated. And I literally, that ancestor told me, and when you leave for work, you tape her because you think this woman likes you. This woman is training your husband to dislike you because she don't like you.
That's right. That's right.
And I taped her. When I tell you, the heart wrenching. And that tape, I bought an 18-hour tape. I left work at 6 o'clock in the morning, then come home till 6 that evening. And that tape taped her for all those hours in my home.
Wow. Wow.
When I tell you, when I listened to that tape, the heart wrenching, backbiting, things that was said, and the sad part that was the most killer was my husband was right there, the one she was talking to. But being that codependent, I don't know if that would be what I was, or that little girl that still saw that man. That's because I'm such a forgiver. Still saw that man. It was now, because now he's using their whatever they use to do to work on you.
Yeah.
It was working because I was afraid for him to go. I'm all the way in Georgia from Pennsylvania in a new place, and he kept threatening me to leave me. So when I bought, it was crazy because when I did listen to the tape and I brought it to his attention and his mother's attention while she was still in our home, staying there for a week, they, of course, they told me I was crazy. And
Yeah.
how dare I take them in my home?
Yeah.
So I went through a lot, and that was in 2017. And when I tell you from that point on, it was just horrible. It was just a matter of time. He needed to be back here in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, with his mother,
Yeah.
because she called him when I first met her. She said to me, "That's my husband."
Wow. She said that. That's my husband.
She said that's my husband. And when we would go out and do things, she would say to me, "You taking my husband away from me." And I had never ever dealt with anything like that. I dealt with the alcoholism,
Right.
but this was a twist. This was a new twist.
Yes.
So what started happening once we got back here, he started staying out. But the craziest part is he would stay out because now she's angry with me that I taped her since 2017. So that's an ongoing conversation that she could, because what it is she knows I put her on, I called on the red carpet. I know everything she said.
Yes.
You can't, and I told her, I said, you can't say this is a lie when you said it out your own mouth and you hear yourself on the tape. So she never ever, so her strategy was to get me gone.
Yeah. Yep.
But my grandmother that was 101 when she passed away told me, she said, that woman does not like you. She will never allow you to be happy with her son. That is really her husband. Before I even, and I'm looking at my grandma, I'm thinking she's being selfish because she just wants me to herself. She doesn't want me to be married because I was married before. She just wants me to be happy and raise my two children, just me, her, and them.
Yeah.
But no, she told me, she said, I was born with a veil over my face. I see what you can't see.
That's right.
He's going to be a good man. He's a good man, but not good for you because he's only good for her.
That's it. Tell her.
And when I tell you, Ivy, and who else is on the phone with you? Because I got my glasses on, so y'all gotta.
We got Judith, we got Maria, we got
Yeah.
Judith,
All right, ladies. Well, y'all gotta get this voice.
Maria said, "Amen." Maria, all up in it. She said, "Amen."
Maria, I've never did this, ladies. This is my first time ever zooming in, talking, and I'm just spitting up tonight.
I'm glad you're doing it, Naya.
Me too. It feels so good to have chose myself. My hair has fallen out.
Yeah.
I have been so sick.
Yeah.
I have gone through so much. And ever since that tape reveal, when I tell you, I don't know what the woman left in my house, but I have not, when I tell you things have went haywire. House was never the same.
Yeah.
House
You'd have
was
said,
never
"Oh,
the
I understand." You'd have said, "I understand." They're
And I'm
feeling
telling
it.
you, my husband had the nerve to say to me, "How dare you take my mother? Nothing's wrong with what she said about." I didn't. I was listening to what you said, Ivy, about that cursing and calling. I was dropping F-bombs for days, and I don't normally curse like that, but he was every MF I could find. Who you think you talk? Yeah, I was. Yeah, where I don't. I'm better now.
Yeah.
But I literally so what happened when we got back here? We only been back here a year.
Yeah. Okay.
And out of nowhere, he's starting to stay out. I'm like, what? Where we do that at, Mary? Come to find out, he's staying out at his mother's house. And she not calling me. So what she does is she buys alcohol for him to drink. Because when he drinks, the courage juice comes out. Then he can talk about everything and tell her all our business. So she encourages him to drink. Then she knows if he drinks too much, he's going to doze off. And she knows that that's going to bring chaos in our home.
Yeah.
So this is all her design scheme that she knows.
Of course.
Then what she did was, he did it twice. And I told him, I said, the third time that you do it, I said, because if there's something in that street that you want, and you need to go ahead and stay out there with it, because I've never been a street girl. I've never been that. When you met me, I came in as a lady. If I leave this relationship, that's how I'm leaving, a lady.
That's right.
So if that's what you want to do, I'm not going to do tick for tack. I'm not running the street because you in the street. I'm not doing that. It ain't that kind of world for me. It never has been. I have daughters that I taught them that the word lady has to follow them always.
All right. You're right about that.
No matter what situation they're in. And it ain't easy. So long story short, the third time came. So what I said to him was, I ain't going nowhere, but you got to go to whatever's keeping you in them streets. You got to go. Wow. And that took, when I tell you, I literally went in my bedroom and I walked for it, because I set up this time. I set up the second time when he stayed out. I kept calling him. Where you at? Get ready to call emergency rooms, because I'm thinking you wrapped around a pole. Where you at? He come in 3 o'clock, looking just Dougie. I call it Dougie fresh. Like he no wrinkles nowhere. So I'm thinking, because his story is, I decided to sleep in the back of my truck because I drank too much. Okay. That's the second strike. Third one, I sat up again, and I got to be to work at 6 o'clock in the morning. I ain't got time to be watching no grown 60-year-old man. And worrying about where you at, and you're a truck driver, and you know what you're supposed to do.
That's right.
So the third time, here come 1 o'clock. I call at 1, talk to him. I'm on my way back. I hear the boombox music in the background. That means you having a good time with whoever you with. 3 o'clock come. I call again. He still answers. But then 3, when I talk to him at 3, he gonna come home. He on his way. I set up to 5:04. And I said, this is the very last time I set up for another man.
That's right.
So that next morning had to walk my floors up. So when he came in looking fresh, like he done dug in something, but it wasn't the back of his truck. He didn't look like he slept in the chair, in the back of his truck. Clothes looked like he was fresh, Dougie fresh, as I call it. So I said to him, and he's gonna tell me, came with the story. Honest, I ain't been nowhere, looking guilty as charged, and I ain't said nothing, but I'm looking crazy. I know. I'm looking like I should bust you in your head. Or we should just be scrapping around this house, tearing that thing up. But I'm still thinking you got to be a lady. I said, so the lady in me says I got to choose me.
That's right.
It ain't going to be easy.
That's right.
And it's not been easy. And it got to a point where after that 2017, I wasn't comfortable showing, because he even on the tape revealed a lot. And he wound up even discussing with his mother my menopause and my vaginal area. Excuse me, ladies, but that's just how it's their codependency of their narcissistic ways and their closeness. And she makes it comfortable enough for him to be able to talk to me, to him about me.
That's right.
When I heard that, that thing just was a heart wrencher. Then I got a sister-in-law that's also in it, because she wound up calling the sister-in-law and says to the sister-in-law, if we would have did what we was going to do, they wouldn't have made it. But this house they got here is nice. Now she on tape.
Wow.
So yeah, I've had to endure a lot, ladies. I don't want to tell y'all 15 years worth, but that's a lot right there I gave you.
Naya, listen, you said a lot, and you said just the right amount, because this needs to be brought to awareness too, because those overdoting mothers, those women, the women out there, right, is here to be exposed. The ones out there who saying that's my husband when it comes to their sons, that's my man, they're making these narcissists like cookie cutter, creating these men to this entitlement, right?
Yes. Oh my God.
And these, and this is part of the mother's grandiosity too. So she's also narcissistic. So these narcissistic mothers is creating these narcissistic men.
Yeah.
Right. It can happen in the other way around, but we're talking about that. And these men will always, they don't feel like they owe anything, no responsibility to any woman that they have in their life. So they're getting married and still don't feel like they owe any responsibility to the woman that they're married. Why? Because they have their mother. Yeah. And that's just unfortunate, because you're getting people involved in your life. You're marrying a woman and you're supposed to have this shared interest, this shared family. And you're like, whatever, I'm going to mama. Mama is going to be the one who loved me. And that's just don't make sense. But yeah, this is happening all too very often. That's my ex was like, his mother was wiping his food off his mouth when he would eat. She would wipe the food off his mouth, honey. So I know how that works. And it's sad. It's sad. Naya, listen, you are strong. Right? I got to give you your praises, dude. We got to empower while you're here on this phone, right? You are strong. You came out of one of the worst situations. Some people still don't know how to get out of situations like that, because when your heart is invested, your body don't normally follow. When your heart is invested, it's a wrap. You try to stick those things out. So I give you all praises due, right?
Thank you, Ivy.
For finding value in yourself and finding your self-worth and saying, I know where my inner child wound was from, but I'm not going to let that define me in this relationship. You're out your mind. Goodbye.
I sure did. But what's so wonderful? I have rental properties back here that I didn't let go when I was going to Georgia. And my husband kept saying, why don't you get rid of the rental properties? Because you ain't gonna be here to take care of them. I said, well, I have people lined up that's gonna take care of them. And you know what, Ivy? I thank God for wisdom that He just showers over me and gives it to me. And I thank Him so much, because I'm so thankful I kept the house. Because when I came back here, I had to move in one of my rental properties.
That's right.
So when I moved in there, I thank the Lord, because the way things was working, when I told him to get out, I told him to get out of my house.
Yeah.
Get out of my house. You get going out of my house, because this is mine.
That's right.
You get gone. And I'm so thankful, because my daughter was in a dark place when I came back.
Yeah.
And she had to move with us. So she was like a little doggy in the window when she was living with us. Even in her dark place, she's very wise. She said, Mom, they used to call him Papa, but after they saw the display of what he was doing, my daughters used to call him Papa. And this one, now that she's grown, she said, Mom, I haven't lived with y'all in a long time. So now that I'm the little doggy in the window, I'm seeing Papa different. He thinks he's entitled. She says, Mom, this man don't care about you. And I'm still in it and can't see it, because sometimes when you can't see nothing.
That's right.
And I literally couldn't see anything and she says, Mom, you're discounting the little that he does to make it much, and it's nothing.
That's right. We do that in codependency. So we take the small little things and we make that big. Like, you know, if he sweep the floor, we'd be like, oh,
Yes.
he swept the floor.
Girl, I'm about to put it on the Instagram and everything.
Right? We just make those small things big, you know, big. Maria, I want you to give Naya her Maria, you can hear us? Because Maria says something great. She said, great share. You a real woman. Remember that. You could tell that to her. Yeah.
Thank you, Maria.
Like, God, I respect her, you know, she's going through it now, but she's strong. And I just felt strongly that she's a strong woman.
Yes. Yes.
You know, to go through all that shit, you got to be strong.
Yes.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you so much.
Yes. We gotta share that. We can't just, you know, we can't just say the sad stories. We gotta give the praises to the strength too. Everybody gotta share that strength. Because you need to know that you are powerful, right? Because too often we don't think we're powerful in those situations.
We don't. In the last relationship I was in, I didn't feel powerful at all. And it's crazy because I didn't find out till I got out of the relationship that he molested my daughter.
Oh, good Lord. God damn it. That makes me mad. Okay.
So when but God does all things well, because and I haven't shared that with a lot of people. So sometimes when I do share it, it pulls on my heart.
Yes.
Because I trusted this man to come into my life when my daughters were little. And he did appear, the representative appeared that he had our back. Not knowing that my daughter never told me until recently, until I went to George's, and that other marriage, he's been out of my life for a while, so she held it this long.
Yeah.
But God does all things well, because I know for a fact that I know what he did to my daughter, I probably wouldn't be able to talk to you girls now, because I know what I probably would have did.
Yes, ma'am.
So I thank the Lord that he gave me the strength to deal with it after I was told, but also he knew timing for when my daughter needed to tell me and when I could handle it, because I know for a fact I wouldn't have been able to handle it, because it was hard for me to handle it when she told me.
Wow, Naya.
And then, you know what's such an amazing thing that I just thank God. I got back here from Georgia. I wasn't here 4 days, and I hadn't seen my ex. Now, not the current one, but the one that touched my daughter.
Yeah.
And I kept saying, Lord, please, I don't know what I'm gonna do if I see him, because I was angry. So, but then 4 days, I was here 4 days. Didn't I run smack dab into him in Home Depot?
Oh my goodness.
I hadn't seen him in 10 years.
Look at that. Look at that. You thought about him so much that you manifested.
That's what I did. And I said that. I said, you manifested.
You thought, you manifested.
And I had to take ownership to that manifestation that I did.
Yeah.
And then, and I thank the Lord that it did not allow me so much anger, that because I did have to leave the store. I said to people that I was with, I gotta go sit in the car. This is not healthy for me. Because things is raging up inside of me. I gotta go sit in the car. So I asked her for her keys, and she asked me what was wrong, and I told her. She said, yeah, well, here, go to the car. I said, because I'm looking at tools.
Yes.
Right.
That's right.
I'm in the hardware department. I'm in tools, tools and nails. It's not good. I gotta go.
I don't want to ask Maria what she would have did. I'm sure she would have just went ahead and got them tools.
A claw hammer to the skull.
Yeah, it was a whole lot of access going on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then I wanted to actually shout to the screen when I got out to the car. I said, I need to go back in here and ask them for their microphone. Let them know that it's a molester a child molester in the store. Like I just was going through a lot.
Yep. Naya, you are so strong.
Yeah, I didn't do anything of that. None of that. I just went and just sat in the car. And it's God that I know He gives me the strength. I know it's not me myself, because this flesh right here, no, wouldn't have been able to do it.
So let me ask you, Naya, what are you doing for your healing process now? Like, what are you doing to work through your healing process?
Talking to y'all.
What?
That's one way.
I feel honored. I feel
what? Just don't know, because everybody's not going to understand your story.
right.
I mean, they
Nobody's
just,
not
not,
right.
and they, so a person walks the shoes, they
Mm-hmm.
don't know how the shoes feel. They don't know how
really
they
don't.
fit. Because you could buy a whole bunch of Crocs, but every Croc wearer ain't the same Croc wearer.
That's right.
Because
That's
my
right.
shoe don't fit the same way your shoe fit, just because they look alike.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. That's why these conversations are so important, because I think that people like us, we're sprinkled among hundreds and thousands of millions of people who think totally different or react totally different or get in relationships and don't understand how we feel in those type of relationships, right? So then we kind of feel outcasted, we feel alone, but we're not. It's about finding, you got to find those people, and we got to drag them to us, you know, in a lot of situations, so we can discuss and share and talk about the healing process and continue to share and heal, you know, because the healing just don't happen overnight. Yours is very fresh. Maria's is very fresh.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to take a while.
Yeah,
it's going to take a while.
And I thank the Lord for just being able to still be clothed in my right mind. Like that thing, to still be able to get up and still, I found some decals at the dollar store and I bought them. I used to, the present husband, I used to, and I got to look for a divorce lawyer too. So if anybody know anybody, but anyway, I found these decals, and one of them, they were like affirmations, and one said, I kiss me good morning, and I kiss me good night. And I put it on my wall, and because my present husband, he used to kiss me when we things was good. He would kiss the certain way he would kiss me at night, and then he would kiss in the morning. And because I've chose myself, when I saw that, I said, I got to get this. So what I do is every night I read that, and I kiss me good morning, and I kiss me good night.
I love that. I love it. I love what I got to get me one of those. Kiss me
I'm gonna
good
take
morning.
a picture and let you up. It says kiss me good morning and kiss me good night. And I put it up where when I lay in the bed is right where I can see it, to remind me to do it. So then I take and kiss my arms, both of my arms, and I hug me. And I say, I love you, girl.
Oh man,
I love that. I love it. You're gonna have to share that on my codependency recovery recovery support group. Y'all got to start getting on my handles, because I'm not going to be doing this Zoom thing too often. I was doing it through YouTube, right? Because more people come and more people share that way, right? But I also want you to go to the codependency support group, because I would rather stream through the support group, right? You got an email from me, right? You had the email from me originally, right? Was it an email?
I got it through Eventbrite.
Eventbrite? Yeah, through Eventbrite.
Any of your groups. Does not matter. I'm codependent and narcissist is problem, so it'll all fit in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's all tied into it, because you know we have to. It's all tied into that. It's all about sharing. It's all about getting all through all of that, because as codependents, 9 times out of 10, we always land in a relationship with some kind of narcissist or an alcoholic. You know. It always happens. It always happens. So I mean, Naya, I just love how you are authentically understanding yourself. You're very authentic with your feelings. You know yourself very well. You have a good perception of who you are as a person. That's very important, because your healing process will happen quicker than most through that. You know, it's going to hurt for a while. But because you're, like you said, that whole decal, I'm going to kiss me in the morning, kiss me at night. That's very important in the stage that you are in. You're realizing your self-worth in this very early stage.
I
right?
thank God for it. I'm so
Yes.
thankful to him. I just don't know what to do. But you know what, too? I have to give credit where credit belongs. It took my daughter that came back that has had many things go on with her life.
Mm-hmm.
She's found in dark places, but God has just given her the strength. She's so wise. It was because of her. It was stuff that she would cause she us coming back together was important
Yeah.
because I went to Georgia, but coming back, I didn't realize once my daughter came out, she didn't come out to me at all. I found out that she's gay. So I didn't know how to process that from the church that I was in.
Mm.
But so what
Okay.
she did was I shunned her and I didn't even realize I shunned her.
Wow.
But she called me on me shunning her. She's forced me to be accountable for the things that I've done and did not do. So
She.
in me being forced to be accountable for, I because I was and I had the willingness to be called on it. Because you got to be
Mhm.
you got to have the will to want to be called on your stuff and sit in it. Because that
That's
sitting
right.
was the hardest place in the world for me. Because for
That's
every
right.
time she showed me stuff, I kept saying no, I didn't, and I was in
Mhm.
true denial. If that defense level went up, the walls went up. Like
That's
no,
right.
that wasn't me. I was there for you.
I didn't raise my hand.
No, that wasn't your raised hand. That's Naya's.
I didn't raise my hand on purpose.
Oh,
Oops.
that wasn't yours.
Was that
Uh-huh.
me doing something else?
Oh, no, no, no. It's still up there. I didn't take it down yet, but that's okay.
Oh,
Go ahead.
okay. So then she said, "Am I too long?"
No, 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 not at all. Go ahead.
Okay. So she kept saying, "Mom." So when we would share,
Uh-huh.
and her calling me, and I'm like, and my wall would go up. It would force me to go like in a seat, my own little quiet place, and think about what she said. And within myself, I called myself on it, like, wait a minute, you weren't there. And I would
Mhm.
be so broken. I was
Right.
broken. So I had to really to be this strong to get through what I'm going through with this marriage. I had to go through what I went through with my daughter and be broken to be able to accept anything that comes and find the strength in it and just deal with the part that I played and
Yep.
anything else to make me be okay.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Because I can't change it. So I got to face it.
That's right. That's right. Oh, Naya, I love that you are up here saying just the right things because people need to see it from also the perspective that you're in. The moments that that self-reflection, that's that self-actualization, so powerful. People go through these relationships and they don't even know how to feel, think, or even move. Like they don't know what's going on. They just, it's just a cloud for them, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you have an awareness like I haven't seen in a lot of people these days,
I'm thankful,
especially
Ivy.
right outside of pain. Like you have an awareness that's very, very important for people to
And,
understand.
and you know what's the craziest thing? And I can sit here and say it, and I don't feel anything in my stomach today. I can't tell you yesterday I didn't feel it, but I don't today talking to you guys. I wind up finding out that all along my husband has been sleeping out
Power on.
and around that, and I'm still, because I've got the codependency, I'm thinking that because we've been made these vows and he know what I've been through with my ex-husband before him,
Mm-hmm.
that no matter what he does, he true to his word. So I've got to hold him to it.
That's right. That's
So
right.
he till I see anything different, but to now have stepped out and choose and have chosen me, I'm seeing the real him. And
Wow.
it's kind of, and I'm thankful because the pain is not what it was yesterday. I don't cry talking through it now like I was. I had
Mm,
moments, and now my moments have turned into half a seconds almost. They're
that's
not
right.
even in minutes anymore.
I love it. I love it. I love it. We can't help the tears. That comes with the territory, but you know what? When you recognize that you're crying less is even important. That's important. When you recognize you're not even crying as hard as you crying before,
No, they
or
soul
hurting.
cleansing. They soul
That's
cleansing, Ivory. It's a soul cleansing search, because it not only makes, when I cry out of coming out too, because every tear ain't a bad tear.
that's right. That's right.
So I'm learning that in the midst of them tears of me feeling sad, I'm also saying I'm glad. Like today, before I got on this Zoom, I was walking through the market. I literally was saying, you know what, girl? I was talking to myself in the aisle. Girl, I'm like, this is a happy day. You ain't got to go home and fix nobody no dinner.
I love it. I love it. I love that. That's
You ain't
right.
got to worry about what he eat for breakfast, because literally I would get up. He could stay in the bed. I would get up at 4 a.m, fix his breakfast, because he wouldn't. And worry about him eating. He didn't have to think about what he was going to eat. I already had that every day.
You see how we neglect ourselves?
My eyes was spewing. I tell you, I got black eyes. It looked like Mike Tyson tore me up many nights. My eyes, but I'm working on them eyes. You hear me?
Yes.
I got rejuvenated, vitamin C. I put retinol, everything is going under these eyes, because these are my eyes.
I love it. I love it.
I got to take care of me.
Yes. Yes, you do.
So now when that oxygen come down on the plane, I look at that little thing. When they talk about that, it's a whole lot different. I'm like, I know it's supposed to go on my face first.
That's right. That's right. Be okay with saying, no, it's about me right now. Honey, it's all about me right now. You have to. It's necessary for a while. Just for a while. Right? So that decal is going to be a symbolism to your whole personality for the next year or two. Right? It's about me. It's about me. That's healthy narcissism, but you got to do it. It's about me. Me. Because you put so many people first for so long. Right? Especially those who didn't put, especially the ones who didn't put you first ever. So
ever. And I didn't see it. Because like I said, that little bit that they did, I made the world of it. And it wasn't nothing.
Yes, we do that. We be like, ooh, you cook dinner? Oh, girl, you're calling friends, and you're so happy they did something.
You bought me a thing of water upstairs without me asking. Thank you so much. Yes. Oh my God, he bought me a bottle of water upstairs. Didn't have to ask. I'm making a big shindig out of the water.
Yes, you
and
did.
I'm like, wait a minute, I bring you him water every night, and don't ask. What?
That's
I'm
right.
Like, girl, and I used to say to the boy, bye. I had to say to myself, girl, bye. That old girl gotta go.
That's right.
We have to no more.
We have to stop that. We have to stop that. Because then what we do is we also go out among friends and families and make these people bigger than what they are as well. Right?
Oh, so I did that. Oh my God. Let me tell you my moment. I did it.
Yes.
Right in the midst of, because I'm thinking that I could cure myself and keep myself busy with this. So because I rehab homes, I get dirty. I don't mind getting dirty, and I dress up. I got the fingernails on and eyelashes, all that. But they pop off when I do houses. I pop all that right on off. And then when I finish the house, I put it back on. So I got all that. So I'm like to my girlfriend, she need her basement done. The guy gonna charge. He wouldn't come to charge. The guy wouldn't show up. He charging the X, Y, Z. I'm like, girl, you don't got to pay that amount because I know prices. I'm like, he overcharging. I'ma do it. Here goes, instead of me saying, be quiet, mind your business. Do you? I'm no, not Naya. No, Naya got to be Captain Savior to save the world, but can't save herself. So I commit to her basement.
Yep.
Now my word is out. Now I get down there, but I'm overwhelmed because I'm still emotionally going through because it's fresh.
Yes.
So some Sundays I can't get out the bed. It's been since March. It's been moments I literally couldn't get out the bed. So drained emotionally from how did I get here? I'm ashamed. All the emotions you can imagine. His mom wins. She got him back. Like, I'm just going through it. But I done committed to this basement. Now I can't do this basement.
Yeah.
I can't do me.
Yeah.
But my girlfriend's not understanding that because I done committed. And she's used to me committing. So I had to, once I said he had to go, I had to also tell her, you got to get a repairman. I can't do it.
There you go. There you. I love it. I love Naya. That was my next question for you. Please tell me you told that woman you can't finish that
I told
basement.
her, I said, I'm too broken to finish you. I gotta finish me. I can't finish nothing in your house. I'll fix my own house, my human house.
This. The yes. The house of the soul.
Yes,
You got some plaster to put up in the house of the soul right now.
yes,
Some
yes.
sheetrock, a little,
Yep.
little
A whole
sheetrock
lot
out
and a
there.
lot of paint and
A lot of
flowers.
paint.
Listen,
Okay.
listen, I gotta do me. I realize it. Trust and believe I do. But then I don't stop there, Ivy. I commit myself to another girlfriend.
There you go.
There I go. Can't to save you again. Now, but I caught myself again.
Yep.
And I said, okay, one is the beginning, the second one is the end. Now stop it.
That's right.
Stop, Naya. Just stop.
Yes.
But I was honest enough because I love where I am in honesty. I was honest enough to tell him, I committed to y'all and I need to commit to me. And I apologize. Y'all
Yes.
know that's not me. When I say I'm going to do something, I'm a person of my word.
That's
But
right.
at this moment, I need to have my own word, my own
Yes.
back. I
That's
need
right.
to just fix my own house, my own humanly body. My soul, my inner spirit man is jacked up.
Yes.
And I told him I started it, but I can't be the completer.
That's right.
I was the visionary, but I can't. I can't finish it.
That's right.
And then, you know what? They got somebody else to do it.
That's all it is. We have to we got to recognize they'll get through that. Because
Yeah.
as codependency, we think, well, what are they going to do? They're not going to be able to do it. That's not,
Yeah.
no, that's not true.
Yeah.
Even in relationships, like we got to let them go. We thinking, oh my goodness, nothing going to be right once I go. No, everybody moves on. Even you. Everybody's going to be fine. Everybody's going exactly where they need to go. Everybody's doing exactly what they need to be doing. You got to take care of you.
Yeah.
You know, you.
Yes, I do. I know now. I didn't know, but
okay.
I'm getting her
And
together.
I'm proud of you because you talking something. Oh, you had chills running up and down my spine. I almost jumped up with the Holy Ghost. That was good. Girl. Because you know what? You have so much self-awareness. It's just unfathomable. People don't understand codependency and it's working. You do. You understand how you overcompensate, how you overgive, how you just do too much, and even landing in friendships, which is not always spoken about in codependency. We get in friendships and we do that overgive.
Yeah.
Overgive our time. And the yes people of the world. Somebody be like, yeah, can I borrow $1,000? Yeah.
Yes.
That's my rent money, but yeah.
Yes, I did it. Child, trust me, I gave up my whole card.
We gotta stop. Because we're perfect people. We're perfect for them narcissists. They be like, oh, you a yes person? This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun. So we gotta stop. I say now, honey, I'm so a no. I'd be like, wow.
Wow. No, I like that.
Wow, I'm so a no. I say no first, and then I'd be like, okay, let me think about it. That's my second line. Let me think about it. You know why? Because I'm so used to saying, I used to say yes in a whim, yes in a whim, yes in a whim. Now I'd be like, let me think that through. Let me sleep on that, work on that, look at my schedule. I don't have nothing going on after that, but I'd be like, let me look at my schedule.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna learn to do that.
Because I have to soul search that project. I have to soul search giving that money. I have to soul search going on that date or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
Because you just can't jump out because we say yes so fast. We get ourselves wrapped up and get all in that murkiness of people using us every single time.
Yes, I agree with you 150%. I'm gonna have to that's a good way to be. I'm gonna have to do that one with the. Let me think about that. I ain't sure. Let me get back to you. I'm gonna have to because I'm quick to say, yeah, I ain't got nothing to do.
That's right. And
I have 55 things to do. Have 55, but because they my friend, I put all the 55 down and I already committed to the 55.
That's right.
And now I'm overwhelmed, but I ain't letting them see it.
Right. You crying in the corner trying to get dressed for that event and you ain't want to be, I can't tell you how many combs I broke throwing across the room because I had to get ready for some event that I didn't want to go to. I didn't say no. I didn't say no. And I just should have said no, because I know me. I know I need to be rested. I know I need my mental space. It takes me a while to get ready for things because I'm also quite introverted, even though people wouldn't believe that. I'm introverted. So it takes me time to move out into the world, in the universe, and move my being out into the universe. So people be like, come now, let's do. I'm like, okay. And now I'm stressed out. You know what I'm saying? I'm acting like an old oddball at these people events because I ain't want to be here. Now everybody looking at me like I'm crazy, you know? So I love it, Naya. I love it. Listen, do you see this? Do you see my screen? Do you see my screen that says?
Yeah, I think that's the family dynamic.
No. Let me share. Let me get that down, honey. I be sharing all kinds of. Hold on. I gotta get that down. I want you to see the other one. Okay, hold on.
Okay. Well, I want you to know I'm so thankful to God that, and I wasn't gonna talk. Crazy today. I wasn't even gonna say nothing.
You wasn't gonna say nothing? No, I'm glad you did. That would have drove me crazy. Listen, I'm glad. If you have a story to tell it. Listen, Maria comes up, she shares all the time. I love it. I love the fact Maria had our room jumping last week. My friend Norman, he's not here. He's gonna be mad at me because I went to Zoom and he don't know how to use it. He's gonna be mad at me. I'll talk to him later. Judith is new. Judith, that's okay. Judith is she's been all in the chat room, but that's okay, Judith. I hope you come up and talk to us about your share story too, because listen, we want to all get acquainted. The reason why we want to get acquainted is because we want this to be that space that people see themselves in, understand our healing process, and we are still in it. A lot of us are still in it, right? Narcissistic abuse recovery, codependency. We coming out of bad relationships. We're finding ourselves. We all still little child, the whole inner child, we still grown little big babies, right? And we gotta share in the sandbox. We gotta share in the sandbox. We gotta share our stories in the sandbox, right?
I thank God for the sandbox. Just for you to be able to talk. God knows this has been a lot.
We have to. So it's about getting in there and let's share with each other. Hopefully someday. Yes, please, Judith. I hope so. I hope so. And I want y'all to, come up and express what what your experiences was, so that when people start to move into the room, that they can't say, yeah, I want to share minds now. Because especially if you find yourself to be codependent, you really coming out of yourself trying to share. It takes a lot to share. It takes a lot to share.
It does take a lot, ladies. And I appreciate y'all letting me just spit up in y'all ears because I have not did this at all. I didn't even do it I started with Al-Anon with that last relationship of my ex-husband. That made it out of the Home Depot safely.
Yeah.
I don't keep saying that because he definitely made it out safely.
Yeah.
But that I didn't, so I went through all of that on just straight quiet.
Yes. You went on.
I went on straight quiet. I went to Al-Anon one day and I felt like everybody in there knew about my business, and I ran out of there and ain't go back.
Yeah.
Because everybody's story was, it was, instead of me being strong enough to say, hey girl, look, isn't that awesome? Somebody else is going through something like you're going through too.
Yep.
I didn't see it as that. I thought that they were looking through our window.
Yep. That's right.
I literally got the book and I read. I never go back.
Well, listen, and I don't want nobody to feel like that here, because there's probably a story that I didn't experience myself. 15 years in a relationship with a narcissist who's a narcissistic drunk, 2 or 3 years with a grandiose narcissist. And my goodness, I can't tell you the number of relationships that I had throughout my life, where I was codependent upon them. So I understand the process every single step of the way, right? There's nothing anybody could tell me. I want this to be a place where we share those thoughts, we share those feelings, because there's somebody out there, there's people out there who will jump in these lives and say very quietly and say, I do that all the time. I do that all the time. I didn't even know it was a word for it. I didn't know it was a feeling for it. I didn't even know other people did it. Right. And Naya, you so self-aware. I'm sure, you're going to transcend that across everywhere. People are going to really see themselves in that because you're so self-aware and you was able to express that so eloquently. I loved it. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you
Love
so
it.
much.
Maria did the same thing for us last week, honey. She was talking about, you know, wanting to choke somebody. And listen, I know that feeling. Okay.
I know that feeling.
I know that feeling. So, okay, we
Yes.
had to talk her down from doing some things. We ain't gonna say it. Okay.
Well, I'm glad, Maria. I'm glad, Maria. I'm glad I'm meeting you on this side, and I ain't got to send you no money order.
We ain't gotta send no bond money.
Yeah.
I love it. So, but we worked through that whole emotion, right, Maria? We worked through all of that. Yeah.
That helped.
Yep, we sure did. But ladies, I won't keep y'all because this live is scheduled to end any minute, and it'll jump down on me. So I want y'all to share. I want y'all to either write down the Facebook group or the Facebook. Find me on Ivy Ravon, right? Or find me on write all that down if y'all could get it right. Instagram, or you know,
I'm writing it all down.
Yeah, right. Get that Facebook group because. And I forgot to put my YouTube page. Definitely go on the YouTube page. The reason why I want y'all to go on the YouTube page is because I'm not going to do Zoom too often. I had to neglect my viewing audience on a YouTube stream for Codependency. They would have loved to be part of this, but they couldn't. I had to zoom it in, and I'm finding it a lot of technical errors going back and forth, right? But they would have loved to be part of this. So next time we can bring more people in and you know, introduce y'all to the rest of the family through YouTube.
Okay.
So
well,
definitely,
this won't be my last. I really enjoyed this, and I'm so thankful that you guys you did this, Ivy, and I appreciate you taking out the time to do this and
I love
tell
it,
your
Naya.
story.
Well, I'm gonna be here every Thursday at 8. And listen, I keep jumping on. I jump on. That's why I want you to go to YouTube, because I jump on YouTube and I go live and do red flags, what to look out for in red flags. We talk a little bit about that. You know,
Okay.
I put videos out all the time. Yeah.
So you're ready. So on what days is on your YouTube? What days is that on?
So this is Thursday, 8 o'clock, every Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. All right.
Okay.
But I'm always jumping on YouTube when the feeling hits me to jump up there, throw up a video, throw up, you know, go live. That can happen at any time. So you want to be ready for that. Hit the notification so that you could come in and share, because people, you know, jump right on and start talking. Yes, because if the feeling hits me, it's time to get up there and talk.
I understand. I know that's right. That's how I was today. I was knowing what talking hit me. I'm like, I'm gonna raise my hand.
That's right. So hit that notification. So it's Ivy Ravon. It's Ivy Ravon at YouTube. I don't change anything. It's Ivy Ravon all across the board, unless it's Instagram or my website. But either way, it's Ivy Ravon. Okay. So Ivy Ravon. You found me, Maria?
Ivy, how do you spell it? REVINE?
REVINED at YouTube. You going to YouTube to find me?
I was going to, yeah.
Okay.
REIND.
Yeah, INED.
INED. Oh yeah. Okay.
You got me? Okay, good. Make sure you find me so that and hit the notification, because like I said, throughout the week, I jump up there. I want to, you know, if I want to talk, I got a red flag series going on where we talk about red flags, you know, so there's a lot of things to discuss. But more importantly, for the codependency, it's important that we understand ourselves clearly and how codependency work in us, so we can, you know, we can get into relationships and have really healthy relationships. You know what I'm saying? It's very important. It's very important to know that, because we start to fear that, wow, every relationship I'm going to get in is going to be crap, especially because of my codependency. But no, that's not the case. That's not the case. Once we realize and see ourselves so clearly and do that self-actualization and do the work.
Right.
We will be, and go to my website. This is very, very important, and become a member, because pretty soon I'm going to be sending out healing tools, the very important healing tools. I got a method called the C code, and it's only going to be for my members. I don't make nobody pay for that. My members, if you come in now, you won't have to pay for it. But pretty soon people are going to have to pay for the C code healing method. Okay. So jump on my website. Okay. And
on that, when you want the YouTube website, that's what it's going to be on, because I'm going to be on all of them. But when you say jump on, which one you want us to jump on?
Well, YouTube, I'm going to be jumping up there a lot. So go on YouTube and subscribe. But definitely register to the website. Definitely register to the website. And Naya, take the codependency assessment the codependency assessment that's up there.
Okay.
Okay. The reason why you take the codependency assessment is because when you take the assessment, then I can give you the right tools as well. I can start sending you the right tools to your email. Okay.
Okay. Because I've been listening to you on some of your videos.
Oh, okay. I love it. Well, get honey. Listen, keep coming.
I'm gonna keep coming.
Yes, because every other day or so, I'm going to start doing lives instead of recordings. Okay.
Okay.
A lot more lives instead of recordings. Sure. Yes. So I love it, ladies. Y'all were the best today. Y'all were the best today. Today we shared. And next week we're going to share some more. So come back. Please come back.
I will, for sure.
Okay. Judith, take the information. Okay. And I'm going to let y'all go for the night. Listen, Naya, your strength was beautiful tonight. Sharing that strength was beautiful tonight. We needed to hear that
so much. I needed to have somebody hear me. Because I was listening to myself. As India Iris said, I was trying to listen to the words that was coming out my mouth too.
You said it beautifully. All through that pain. We heard the pain, but we also heard the strength. Now that is a beautiful travesty, if I could say it in a sense, but I've seen the beauty in your pain because you're getting past it. You understand?
Yes,
I love that. I love that.
I do. And I'm starting to feel like I'm getting past it because I didn't. This time, March, I didn't feel like I couldn't figure out how I was.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
That's right.
But I'm here and I thank you so much. But I know they're going to shut you down. Ladies, I'm going to go.
I'm about to shut down.
I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning and I've got to get back up again.
I hear you.
Pleasure.
I love it, ladies. Y'all have a good night. Judith, thank you for coming. Everybody, awesome. Y'all have a good night, okay?
Bye, everybody. Have a good night.
Have a good one. All right.
Bye-bye now.
Good night.